Welcome back, everyone. Today I am presenting stone number 299. Now I'm going back to the Rosarita because I want to make a piece for the July Cab Challenge. And basically it's a summer themed challenge. So I picked red Rosarita to signify heat. Now for this piece, I was goofing around, kind of estimating where I want to cut. And I think I'm going to try for a pretty big oval. So I'll have to cut along this line here.
Aziz, light!
And hopefully I'll get that nice river of lighter yellowish red presenting down the middle of the stone. Now let's go ahead and weigh it up. And it looks like 24.57 grams. Now that's like 122 carats. I imagine this piece here will probably be around 6 to 7 grams when it's cut. And this is about 6 millimeters in thickness. The actual width of the piece is right around 25.7. And the length of the piece, oh, it's huge. Oh look, 6'7". Yay. All you TikTokers can have some fun with that. Alright, so let's get on with cutting this, and I'll be back after. Okay, so the cut went a little wide, you can see there. Not a huge problem. Kind of wanted a bit of wiggle room there, just so I wouldn't get too close to the edge. Now let's go ahead and weigh this chunk up really fast. .4 grams. Yeah, almost right in the middle. How big is this chunk? Let's find out. So now we're working with a piece that is 24.8 by 15. Depending on how we want to measure that, we'll just call it 15 by 6. So one more step to go. I'm going to slice off little chunks. Come on, focus. Little bits around the edge, just so I have less to grind off.
Aziz, light!
And we'll have a pretty good start for this cab. See you on the other side. Okay, now I have made a couple more cuts, 4 to be exact. And we have all these lovely little pieces here. We can set those aside. Notice how I did get too close up here on this edge. And every other side looks pretty good. That shouldn't be an issue. Even though you can tell it's slanted inward a bit. So the way to cure that is I will just draw a smaller oval on it. And it'll be a little bit smaller than drawn, but no big deal. We'll still get a nice cab. So we have, looks like 22-ish. Yeah, we'll call that 22. And then 15 is good, 22 by 15, and of course by 6. So let's weigh her up really fast. What do you think? About 4.7 grams. What? 3.35 grams. Let's try that again just to make sure. Yeah, 3.35. Let's add all those in. 4.9. So we basically lost half a carat slicing all those bits off. So we have a piece that is 3.36. 3.36 grams. That is, I'm talking by 5. Yeah, close to 17 carats. In fact, we'll go ahead and actually weigh it out as carats. 16.85 carats. Alright, let's get to cutting this. And by cutting, I mean grinding. I start out using sintered diamond bits because I need to take off material quickly, and these things are really aggressive. They also last a lot longer than the Nova burrs, so use them in the beginning stages. Just make sure that you have lots of water running. You don't want them getting too hot, that does wear them out faster. When working this material, I could have chosen the 80 or 170 grit sintered diamond burrs, but those are really aggressive, and since Rosarita is basically like glass, it chips pretty quickly. You want to be making sure to use the bottom edge of the burr as you're working on this, as it does help minimize the chipping. Also on the sharp edges, you want to go a little easier. Of course, there's always going to be chipping with this kind of softer material, especially as you're using a bunch of diamonds that are just sticking out. The goal with this burr is to get a rough shape into the oval that I desire. Looking pretty good. So the rough shape overall looks pretty good. The sides are fairly consistently even. I've sloped them inwards because that makes doming a little easier. And also your girdle has to be 11 degrees, somewhere in that area. Now here I am with the 600 grit. I will be finalizing the edges here, making sure that I get a girdle that's a fair consistency around it. I don't want it to be too high, but I don't want it to be too thin either. You can see exactly how many little chips of glass are coming off this piece. I'm working a little more to make sure the girdle is very good looking, and then I have started the doming process, and there are different ways to do this, but I just kind of start it where I want the girdle's height to end and start bringing in the sides. sloping them, going back over, doing a little more, narrowing it, all while working towards the top of the stone. And of course, I don't want a flat face, so let's keep working on this until it's done. It's looking good so far. Let's transfer it over onto a dop stick. Alright, it's dopped, and you can see I drew that little pencil line around it. That will help me keep an eye on where the girdle is when I'm bringing in the sides even further to achieve that lovely high dome that I'm going to get at the end. Spoilers, sorry. I'm also working to make sure that the ends of this thing aren't off. It's pretty easy to screw that up, honestly, when you're starting. And one end will be a different slope than the other. It looks off, and you'll be able to notice it when you screw up. Alright, this is looking really good, honestly. The girdle is consistent, the dome is nearly finished, and both ends look pretty close. Switching to the Nova burrs, I will work out the last of the scratches and facets left by the sintered diamond burrs, and I can complete a little more shaping. The 280 actually does shape pretty well, but it's still kind of aggressive and will leave marks on the stone. It also wears out quickly. You can see this little concave section in it. The 600 is basically just removing any remaining pits and scratches and oddities left by the previous stages. It will shape as well, but it is a lot slower at it. Doing my best to make sure that we get a nice dome that's not got any flat surfaces on the top. And since I'm going to polish this stone on both sides, it's kind of a fetish of mine, if you didn't know. I will be flipping this stone over and using the same process on the other side to make sure it's good looking. The 1200 is the pre-polish stage. The 1200 is for pre-polishing. If you wanted to work hours and hours, you could remove a fair amount of material with this, but I don't recommend that. Are you getting hypnotized yet? You will open your wall. No, never mind. You will open your wallet. No, forget it. No, that's not going to work. The last stage I will use is the 3000 Grit Nova burr. This gets it all nice and ready for polishing. I do have further stages above this, the 14,000 and the 50,000, but I don't really use them on things that will polish nicely with cerium. Here we are, all set for polishing. You can see that the apex of the dome has a little bit of a fault in it, but that's not really that big of a deal. Both edges are good on either end. There might be a slight variation there. And now we use the cerium with the felt burr. You can see the lovely hacked shield that I made. Basically, this is the cover for a frozen cheesecake container. I believe it's the 8-inch model. I just drilled a hole in it and basically taped it to another tray. The hole gets larger over time because it rubs against the burr. I try to avoid that. I also cut a flap in about the 2 o'clock position and pried that open a bit so I could get longer dop sticks to work in there, but honestly I should just cut the dop sticks shorter. They don't really need to be long. When we started with this slab of Rosarita and cut off a hefty little chunk, we ended up with a piece that was 27 carats and 25.8 by 16 by 6 millimeters in size. And after a few more strategic cuts, we ended up with this janky looking little piece that was 16.85 carats and 22 by 5 by 6 millimeters in size. After finishing with the sintered diamond burrs, I have a piece that is 9.5 carats and 17 by 11.6 by 5.9 millimeters in size. I present now the finished stone, which I have called Summer Heat. This stone is 8.7 carats and is 16.6 by 11.2 by 5.8 millimeters in size. This stone has a very even look. The girdle is pretty good, almost there. The dome is high and it's got a great polish. Overall, I would give this stone a grade of A. The only bad thing in this stone is there are still a few pits on the face and on the bottom. Grinding down would remove those, but you risk uncovering new voids because, being a slag glass, there are bubbles in the material. This chunk was worth about $2.11. Finished, I think this stone is worth $10. Even at that, that's not really a good return because it took at least 3 hours to create. Let me know in the comments, how well did you think I cut this stone? And do you think it's worth $10? Photographing this thing is not easy. Trying to get the right contrast to make the bands appear is tough, but I'm getting better at it. In person, this stone really pops. Under a loupe and with a nice bright lighting, it's incredible. Now, there is this portion in the face that reminds me of a tornado descending from the clouds, and the spot right next to it reminds me of flames. What do you see? Well, that's it for this stone's journey. Thanks for joining me, and if you liked the video, please like and consider subscribing. Also, if you liked this video, consider watching this video next.